what am I doing here? Like, is this really what I want to do?
At one point, you were forced to take a vacation from your director. Like, she had to kick you out of the hospital. They call you the mother of the ER.
I work better under pressure. I love chaos. This is what I was meant to do, was just to be good to people.
Welcome back to the Badass Motherfucker podcast, where we highlight great healthcare workers nominated by you. Today, we talk to Leslee Marincik, a nurse with 18 years experience, including 7 years in the ER. She's one of the sweetest and kindest nurses I've ever spoken to, and I can't wait for you all to meet her. If you have a healthcare coworker who you believe is a badass motherfucker and deserves a $1,000 bonus, nominate them at badassmotherfucker.com and let's share them with the world. Hello, everybody. We are here with Leslee Marincik from Ottawa, Illinois. Am I saying that right? Ottawa, Illinois?
Yep, that is correct.
I've never been, but I read online that there's about 20,000 people who live in this tiny little town. Is that true?
Yes, it is. It is true. A lot of little towns around it, yeah.
Are you one of the more senior nurses at this hospital?
I am now, yeah. Our most senior nurse, unfortunately, just passed away like a month ago. So that was pretty devastating to us. I've been a nurse for 18 years, 7 years at this emergency department. So
what were you doing before the ER?
Cardiovascular step down. I worked at a bigger hospital, like an affiliate of the hospital I'm at now, just the bigger version of that. It was about an hour, 15-minute drive for me. I did that for 11 years and kind of got tired of driving, missed out on some stuff with my kids and decided to get something closer to home. And I love the ER. I was like, where has this been all my life? You know, so different. So yeah, I love it. I work better under pressure. I love chaos.
I feel like most people start in chaos and eventually end up in like step down.
Totally opposite.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But you did it because you wanted to be closer to your family.
I did. Yeah. Missed out on a lot. Yeah, with my kids growing up.
So your coworkers, Bryn and Lou nominated you because, you know, they believe that you are a badass motherfucker. And from their stories, I would absolutely agree. You know, I've worked in the ER for 10 years and I've had certain coworkers who, whenever I come into work and I see them, I automatically think, oh my God, yes, they are here. It's going to be a good day. They know what they're doing. They're knowledgeable. They're helpful. You know, they're not burnt out, which is so easy to be burnt out in the ER. At one point, you were forced to take a vacation from your director. Like, she had to kick you out of the hospital.
She did. She even picked the days because I was like, I don't know when's a good time to go. And so she's like, you're going.
When they forced you to take that first vacation, did you feel like you needed it at the time or were you?
No.
Because I felt like, you pushed back, right? You said you didn't need it.
I didn't want to go. I felt like it probably wasn't a great time to try to take a vacation. This was before we got extra staffing. This was when we were still short-staffed before the other hospitals closed and short-staffed on our own. So, you know, we had a nurse on leave. We still were trying to hire nurses. COVID kind of messed things up. It was really hard to be like, okay, I'll take a vacation. I dumped and, kicked and screamed the whole way because I didn't think it was a great time to leave, but I'm so glad I did. It was fantastic.
Would you say you were burnt out at the time?
I probably was and really didn't, realize it. I after like self-reflecting and being away on my own, when you're buried in work, you're kind of ignoring other things, maybe at home. And sometimes, we do that on purpose. Maybe I don't. So yeah, I think I was. It was a machine. I was just constantly at work, constantly picking up, working 60 hours a week, sometimes even more.
60 hours a week?
Yeah, pretty consistently. And now I'm not, so that's great. I really like the last probably month for sure, which I know sounds like a short period of time, but I've really only been working 3 12s recently. And so, yeah, I need to find a hobby.
What was your shift time? Were you the 7 to 7?
7 to 7. Yep. Always been days. Yeah. 7 to 7. Yeah. So yeah. And you kind of just, when you're doing that many days, you feel like you've not even left work really. So I was probably running on empty for a while and didn't realize it till I took the time off to, center myself again. And I'm so thankful that I did. I'm very thankful that she made me go.
What I realize is that like, there are times where just I am not the best version of myself in the ER.
Oh, no.
Right? It's such a stressful place. And it's so hard to just like keep yourself going and happy and, trying to help other people,
It is
who with our patients who are also not the best versions of themselves when they come into the ER,
true.
right? And to go 12 straight hours, 5 days in a row,
Yeah, not
helping these
easy.
people and
Yeah.
staying in like a good mood it's so hard. But somehow you
Yeah.
do it because your coworkers are convinced that, you are the best and a badass motherfucker. But they're also,
I
I
have
guess they
great
also realized when
coworkers.
you needed a break.
They did. They did. They encouraged me for sure. Yeah.
There was a story that I think Bryn and Lou told me where I guess one day the census was low and you were able to go home. So you
Yes.
left and then they called you back because one of your coworkers got sick and then you came back.
And she
You
was
actually
so
came back.
apologetic. Yeah, I did. Of course I did. I mean, you can't help it if you get sick.
Were you already home? Were you in the car?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
how far were you?
I was home. I was home.
You were already home.
Yeah.
You
She
cannot
was
pay me
sick,
enough.
you
You
know?
cannot pay me enough to get off of my couch and come back to our
I
like
guess I'm pretty lucky.
mentally I've checked out. Once I leave
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
bag in my car, I'm
You're done.
totally checked out.
Yeah.
There's no way you're
Yeah.
coming back.
I really didn't mind. When they need you, it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say no. There's patients that depend on you and coworkers that depend on you. So
You're making me look like a huge asshole.
No.
I was
I wish I
I was
could.
like,
Maybe I wish I could be more like that, right? Where I could be like, no, not today. I'm good. But yeah, I'm dedicated to, and not saying that no one else is. That's just who I am.
I think people go into healthcare inspired to help others and they start very inspired to be a good nurse. But I feel like it's really hard to stay inspired to be a good nurse.
Definitely. It has gotten harder, for sure. I just had a conversation with someone, it used to be rare that a patient would be rude. It used to be rare.
Really?
We're talking 18 years ago, right?
Mhm.
People were appreciative, thankful. Now it's rare to have a patient who's like, thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for taking such good care of me. It's such a change. And that's everywhere. I just think humans have changed, unfortunately.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. I really don't. I feel healthcare's changed. It's, become more of a business, unfortunately, compared like a money-making business as opposed to like patient care. And that's just the world today. I feel like in the last few years, I've noticed a change in just the attitudes of people. The fact that you have to remind people to be kind, where to me, it's like, I think it takes more energy to be mean than it does to be kind. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people are mean. I really don't. I wish I could figure it out.
Something definitely happened recently, and I don't know if it was COVID.
Yeah, I don't either.
When I left the ER a couple years ago, there was this weird mass exodus of healthcare workers who I think were just so burnt out from what happened in 2020 that they were just like, hey, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so what happened was, because I'm going around the country now, I'm doing some comedy shows and I'm meeting a lot of the nurses and healthcare workers, and a lot of places have nurses who are maybe 2 years in who are now the charge nurse or who are now the most senior nurse at their unit. 2 years in.
Yeah. Scary.
And it's scary, right?
Scary. It is.
And I just think, man, how like, I don't know how it got here, but it used to be such a great job that people wanted. And now it's like, nobody wants to do this job anymore.
No, exactly.
Right.
The newer ones, they just don't know what they don't know yet. Right.
Yes.
It's like, and they think they do. And it's like, what? No, it's scary. It's scary.
Are you seeing that problem at your hospital, or do you have a lot of young staff?
We do have a lot of young staff. I think they're coming along. The ones who are charge are more senior, though. So we don't have any young, new charge nurses, thankfully, because especially in an ER setting, well, actually any setting, you want a good resource, a good support person, a mentor, someone who is quick thinking, someone who's calm, rational, that kind of thing. If it's someone new, like I said, they just don't know what they don't even know yet. So that can be scary. It would be a bad position to be putting a new person in. That's setting someone up for failure, really and a department, which is not cool. So
Yeah.
luckily, we are not there. We have, more senior nurses. So that's good.
Right. Because normally, once you're a new grad, being a new grad in the ER is rare, right?
Yeah. But we
Yeah.
hire them now, and it's like mind blowing.
And
It
that was
didn't used
just
to be a thing.
that just happened recently,
Yeah.
right?
COVID did that. COVID did that.
COVID did
Yeah.
that.
That's not good. That is, as a new nurse, it wasn't even in your radar to think to apply to an ER, right?
Right.
You're just like, no, that
No.
is somewhere you go later. You got so much to learn.
Yeah.
And now
You
it's
do.
like, what do you mean you just graduated? What do you mean you did clinicals online during COVID? You never gave a med to a patient ever? Like this is your learning experience. Yeah. It's not a good idea to put brand new nurses in an ER. We have hired brand new nurses. Thankfully, we have fantastic preceptors who have been able to really guide our new nurses. They've gotten some extra training, which is great. Because I came, like I said, I was a nurse for 11 years before I went to ER, and it is a whole new world. It scared the poo out of me. Like I was like, what am I doing here? Like, is this really what I want to do? And then it grows on you and you're like, where the hell has this been my whole life? This is amazing. I love this like chaos and energy and, just you're pulled in a million directions, and you have to have the brain to be able to do that clearly. Cause it's not for everyone, but, I love it. But yeah, as a new nurse, it's got to be frightening.
Are you precepting some of these nurses?
I have precepted. Now I am, doing more charge, which is, also kind of a funny story because our most senior nurse who recently passed away, I only took on charge because she left for, medical reasons. So I said, I'm only doing it for face, hoping she would come back. Obviously that didn't happen. So, so now I'm probably going to be doing it more permanently, which I don't mind, but I love taking care of patients.
Yeah.
It's different. You don't get to do that. I love that people look to me as a resource and, support. And I try to keep everyone working together as a team, but it's so different. I love to just take care of my patients. So
yeah,
I don't mind doing charge,
Some of your coworkers also mentioned that, you're also very cognizant of what's happening around you. So I guess there was a story of, there was a nurse in triage who was drowning. And you decided to come out there and just, I don't know if they were new, one of those new nurses or an older one, but you kind of just gently told them, hey, today's not your day, and let's switch your assignment. Let's get you out of there. And they said you did it in a way where it was not demoralizing to this person.
Right.
And, and you just let them down easy by saying, I think that's a great line. Listen, just today's not your day. And like, if you worked in healthcare or in the ER, you know what that means. It's like, listen, man, like, don't worry about it. We got you. We're a team here. Let's just switch your assignment. You get them next time.
Yes.
And I think that's so important to like, for you to help without judgments. Cause it's so hard, when you work in the ER, whether you're new or you've been there for a while, to not be afraid to ask for help without, being judged.
Yes. And I always want people to know they can come to me and ask for help. I've said that too. I'm still learning every day, right? Like we're humans. It's great to learn. And you never want someone to make you feel bad for, you don't want anyone to ever think there's a dumb question. I would much rather have someone ask for help and be able to guide them than them not, and there be a mistake or something detrimental happens, to a patient. So I don't like to be judged. So I don't want someone to feel I'm judging them. I would want to know if I was drowning, that someone would come rescue me, right?
Yeah.
In a non-judgmental way.
Yeah.
So not always easy. I'm far from perfect. I'm sure there's people who have thought that I have judged them or been rude, so.
Talking to you now and knowing you now, I highly doubt that. You're one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But was there ever a moment in your career where, maybe that's happened to you, or someone where you felt like you needed help and someone helped you without judgments that inspired you to
Sure.
become this person?
Yes. Um, I'm sure it's happened a million times. I can remember being a new nurse and
Mhm.
feeling like the senior nurses then, so this is 18 years ago, they wanted to eat you alive, right? They were just like, you're gonna fail. I'm gonna watch you
Really?
fail. You know, it was a very different culture back then. I mean, but I had an amazing orientee who was like, listen, I'm going to guide you. There is no dumb questions. I want, you know, it's a reflection of you. When you're precepting someone, you want them to do well. You want them to like soar. You want them to be the best nurse that you can. So if someone turns out to be a terrible nurse and you've been orienting them, you got to kind of look at yourself and be like, ooh, did I, did I do, like, did I show
Mhm.
them wrong? The older nurses when I first started definitely wanted to make you feel like you are not going to survive. They had it way harder. They did it much, you know, dirtier, whatever. Um, but my preceptor, sorry, was amazing. And she made sure to like lift me up and, you know, help
Yeah.
me and guide me. And I never felt dumb asking her questions. So there was other
Yeah.
people who would, you know, didn't want you to feel like you could survive in the nursing world, but I was lucky.
That sounds so shitty. It's like they were trying to haze you at some point?
Oh, yeah. And when I say like senior nurses, I mean, these nurses were probably I'm in my 50s, so they were probably in their 50s at that time. But, you know, you think about when they started their nursing careers, it was all very different, you know, and they precepted you by saying things like, you know, this isn't going to be an easy job for you. They're just going to let you like, you do your thing and you're either going to sink or swim, right?
Mhm.
And they wanted you to sink. Um, so it was very, very different. I never want to be like that. So when I'm precepting, you know, I'm very cognizant of like, I want to make sure that they know they have the ability to be a great nurse. I mean, you went through schooling for all of this. You chose to be in the medical profession for a reason, to take care of people. So let's do the best that you can. So ask questions and be willing to learn. And, you know, I'll always be supportive. I can't imagine not being that way.
Yeah. To teach them in a way where it's where they know, hey, it's okay to make a mistake and it's not the end of the world,
Because we
you
all
know?
do. I mean, we've
And
all done it. I've had
it's
to call
so
cardiovascular surgeons and you're just like, "Ooh, you know, I don't wanna tell him that this
yeah.
mag just went in over like 2 minutes," you know, like, you know.
It's so easy to feel like that in the ER, you know? I'm sure
Yeah.
in, like, other units of the hospital too, but it's just so easy to feel like you fucked up,
Oh
uh,
gosh, because it's
and
everything's so
you let
on the
us
spot, thinking.
yeah, everything's quick, you know, it's so easy to
Mhm.
feel like you let everyone down, you
Yeah.
let the patients down. It's so easy to feel like, "Oh, my coworker had to come over here out of their assignment to help me because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing."
Yeah. But it's not even that. It's, you know, like, it's just how you word it, right? I mean, you can choose to tell someone like, "You're really kinda sucking at this today," or just be like, "Hey, it's not your day in this. Let's, you know, how about you want to just take a team over in the corner and we'll, you know, triaging people can be really rough. You can have like 10, 15 people checking in all at the same time. And
Mhm.
if you're drowning, it's not going to help anybody, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. Once you start getting stressed out a little,
it's
again,
done.
you're not acting like yourself. So, you know,
No.
you start talking differently to the patients too. You
Oh, yeah.
lash out at your coworkers. It's all bad. It's
100%.
bad for
It's all bad.
everybody.
You have the downward spiral that you just hope somebody yanks you out of.
Throw the towel. Just get out of there.
Yes. Get me out of
Today's
here.
not your day. And it's so funny because again, your coworkers, a million stories about you.
They're great.
They call you the mother of the ER. And you know, your stories that you're telling me, it kind of just highlights that perfectly.
Yeah. I'm a mom. So that was my role in life first, you know, before becoming a nurse. So I have 5 amazing kids, so I hope nobody hates it because it's just a habit of momming people, but I care. I really truly
Mhm.
just care about people, and so I guess it's a mom thing.
It makes you a great nurse for sure because, you know,
Yeah.
people come into the ER or the hospital, like they need to be taken care of. And again, sometimes they're just way out of line
Oh,
with their attitude and their mood. And sometimes you just
yes.
gotta have to talk to them like a child,
100%. And they can
right?
tell, like, I get my mom voice going, and they know. Like, "I heard you just mom that patient." And sometimes you have to, you know? It's like, "Hey, respect is a two-way street." I'm talking to you respectfully. You need to talk to me respectfully. Like, that's not what we're here for. I'm here to
Yeah.
take care of you. You
Oh my
can't.
God. I just heard it. Is that something you actually say in
That
the
was the
ER? I
mom
just
voice.
heard it.
Yeah.
The mood changed a little. It
Yeah,
felt
it
like, okay,
does.
yeah.
Yes.
It
There's a
felt like you were
tone.
talking. It felt like you were talking to a psych patient.
Yeah. I'm pretty good with them.
You're pretty good with psych patients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that was another thing that your coworkers mentioned that,
Yeah.
do you guys get a lot of psych patients where you
We
work?
do. Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We have an inpatient psych unit at our hospital, so we tend to get a lot. But I mean, I think the world's just full of humans just trying to be humans, and some people have bad days. So, now we do get psych patients, but I just talk to them like I talk to the rest of my patients, right? Like, be
Mhm.
respectful. They're having a bad day, a bad moment. We've all had
Yeah.
bad days and bad moments.
And your coworkers, again, Lou and Bryn, have said that you're really good at talking psych patients into submission rather than fighting
Yeah.
with them, which is what they see a
Yeah.
lot of other nurses do.
Yeah. I just kind of look at it like, what's the point, right? Like, yeah, they're elevated and it can be really hard and really frustrating. But I truly try to look at every patient like it could be my family member. It could be, a sibling, child, a parent, and they're having a rough day. And sometimes you just have to like get down to their level. And it can be frustrating. Do not get me wrong. It can be like super frustrating.
Oh,
But
totally frustrating.
arguing with a psych patient really just elevates it. And that's not the point you ever want to get to. Because you got like 13 other people out there
Yeah.
you're trying to take care of, right? And so, not everyone has the wherewithal to like kind of be calm. I've been called the
yeah.
Psych Whisperer before. So,
I'm sorry, they call you the Psych Whisperer?
yeah. So, yeah. I don't know, maybe I got a little,
Maybe you got a little
psych in
psych in
me
you.
that,
Yeah. I don't
you know.
I can't, I don't know if I would ever want to be called the Psych Whisperer.
Yeah. It's just,
Like,
like just to be able to calm them down. You're in an ER, there's nothing worse than hearing someone losing their mind, right? And
Yeah.
there's someone over here silently having a heart attack, and
yes.
all you can hear is this revved up person. So the quicker you can get them to kind of calm down and, everybody's got a story and sometimes they just want to be heard. So
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's one thing I've learned when I was working in the ER in the hospitals. These people, they just want to be heard. They just want to
that's it.
complain for a
Yep.
little bit. So you
Yep.
let them do it and you'd be like, okay, it's time to move on, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where can we go from here to get you better and out of the hospital?
Yes. Yep. And they just need that person to listen,
They just need that. They just
Sometimes
need
you
that
hear
punching.
things,
They just need that punching bag to go out for a
Yeah.
while, and then you're like, okay, are you
Yes.
done?
Are we good now? Yeah.
Yeah, are we good?
Exactly.
And it
Yep.
takes a very special person in the hospital like yourself to not take that the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, I wear my big girl panties to work every day. I do not take anything personally.
Yeah. See, good for you. Good for you. Because again, I've done it, right? I've worked there, and the
Yeah.
last thing you want to hear while you're triaging a million patients, while you're trying to figure out if this person is actually big sick or little sick, is it actually
Right.
an emergency or is it not? The last thing you want to hear is, someone. It's so mean to say, like like a psych patient,
Just losing it.
just losing it. I'm just like, come
Yeah.
on, man, just get it together, please, for 1
Yes,
second.
please. Just for
I
1
can't.
second. Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. It's distracting to everyone. So the
Yeah.
quicker you can kind of let them be heard in that moment and, get it over with, talk them down a little bit, We've all had moments, I'm sure, in life where we had to be talked down, maybe not to an extensive level, but, we've all been a little extra where someone's had to like just listen for a minute and bring us back down to reality for a second. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's better to just try that.
And do you guys have sitters or security with these psych patients?
Yeah, both.
Both.
Yeah.
Do you have ER techs in the ER?
We do. Fabulous
do.
ones. Yeah. Pretty lucky.
How many-
I work with great people. I really do. I'm very lucky. I love everyone I work with. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm pretty easy to get along with too. So
Oh, I could tell. You'd be a great person to work with for sure. Are the people who typically come to work at this hospital people who are from Ottawa?
the surrounding area, I'm sure there's a few that live in town, but especially now that the other hospitals closed, we get people I know there's people driving an hour to get to work. So it's
Oh,
from all
really?
over. It's a lot of small little towns kind of connected in this area. So from all over. People drive probably from 5 minutes up to a little over an hour to get to work. So
the last few hospitals I've worked at were really big organizations where we were getting travelers from like all over the world,
all over the
all
place.
over the
Yeah,
country.
traveling turned really big for a while there. I mean, I think it still is big, but yeah.
Also the result of COVID, don't you think?
Yes. Kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
I think that was another problem where like traveling got so popular. Some of the staff nurses who had been there for a while decided, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here.
There was
and I'm
some,
making
yeah,
money.
there was a couple, not like permanent staff that we had, but we had like kind of like float type nurses that chose to just go to travel nurses and went to, like, even in the beginning of COVID, like to New York to travel. And I was like, well,
yeah,
that's kind of ballsy, but okay. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's not what I would have chose during the beginning of COVID when we still didn't know a lot. He was like, heck yeah, I'm going. So
I mean,
yeah,
the contracts were just so huge. I can't remember if I'm saying this right, but I feel like it was between like $10,000 to $20,000 a week. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes. It's around there, right?
Insane, right?
It was an insane amount.
So I can get like why people wouldn't, why not, right? My thought was, what if you absolutely hate it? And I got this prime like day shift job.
I'm
not never be able to come back to that day shift job. I don't want to work nights. I don't want, like, what if you absolutely hate it and you're far away and,
I guarantee you they hate it. And I think because of that, all this traveling is another reason why some of these ERs have gone completely to shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you're getting people who don't necessarily want to be there. They're there for the money.
Right.
They haven't been around long enough to build relationships with the other workers there. And so now it's just like
how much experience do they have? Yeah.
And how much experience do they have? Right.
Right.
And so now it just becomes this like everybody for themselves in the ER.
Yeah.
And it just turns the workplace into, it just becomes a little toxic.
100%. It definitely can be. And we had a few travelers. We were really lucky with the travelers we had. We just had a small handful, but they were all fantastic. So luckily,
really,
yeah, we had really good ones. Thankfully,
but at some point, is it the travelers or is it the place you work? Because it might be the result of the person who's in charge, Leslie.
Maybe
it might be the result of you working there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I don't know about that.
Right?
Maybe no.
But ultimately, you got lucky with these travelers. They were actually good.
We really did. Yeah, we did. And yeah, now we have plenty of our own staff, so that's kind of great too. So,
did you ever get a traveler who came to Ottawa who decided, hey, this is a great place. I think I'm going to stay forever?
No, we didn't. No. Actually, when I first started there like 7 years ago, there was a traveler who had been a traveler there for like 3 years. And we did hire her on PRN. And she came from like an hour away. Still friends with her. She's a super cool girl. She worked, I don't even know where she's at now. I think she's probably traveling somewhere around locally as well. But that was one, but that was even before COVID. That was well before COVID. So yeah, but she's an amazing nurse wherever she goes. So she's a rock star. So yeah, but any of the other travelers, nope, they're back on to traveling wherever they came from. I don't even know. Some of them were from Illinois and some of them weren't, I think.
Your coworkers. It's another really funny story. And knowing you now, like talking to you now, I absolutely realize like why this came up, because they said that your favorite thing to say to patients is have the day you deserve. And when they first told me that, I thought that's such a weird, passive, aggressive kind of like way of telling a patient to fuck off. But meeting you now and hearing that, I feel like that is actually the nicest way to tell people, hey, I'm upset, fuck off, and have the day you deserve.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and it gives them a moment to reflect kind of on a little self-awareness, like, ooh, did I say something or did I act in a way that, it's a moment to just reflect, right?
Yeah.
When someone says that to you. And I mean, it is the nicest way of telling someone to F off.
It absolutely is. I thought it was so funny. But when I first heard it, I'm like, let's say that. I would never say that. I would tell them, be like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no.
But knowing you now, knowing how kind you are, like, like.
Why give it the energy, right?
Why give it the energy, especially when you're working 5 12-hour shifts in a week. Leslie, are you insane?
I don't have the energy.
I mean, like, so when I go on vacation, when I leave the ER and like I take like a week off, I never feel like it's enough.
Yeah.
I never feel like it's enough. The minute I have to go back to work, I'm nauseous. You know,
Oh,
the back pain comes back. It's like my whole body reacts in a way where it's just
yeah.
like, oh God,
I
I
feel
sure want to come to
refreshed.
you.
I'm ready to go. Yeah. I mean, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be good. But
you'd be good.
yeah,
You'd be good, right? But you still go to work. That's what I'm
I
hearing.
probably would. I can't even lie. I probably would still go to work.
Yeah,
Maybe part-time. But yeah, I love
it's
it. I love my job, and I
I
really
know
do
it's
love who I work with. I have amazing coworkers. Very lucky.
you know I didn't really want to bring this up because it's such a touchy subject, and I don't know how it comes across on social media, but usually management, the people you work with, and the directors are not your best friends when you're on the
Yeah.
floor in the ER. But for you, it was actually your director who forced you to take a vacation
Yes.
because she was looking out for you. So it's not
She's
only that
amazing.
so it's not only that your coworkers on the floor are great. I guess the people in upper management are good to you guys too. Is that right?
My direct manager,
Your direct manager.
I think she has a great relationship with her department. So I can speak to her. She is there for us always, text, phone call. In her office, we can drag her out if we're drowning. She's very supportive. She wants us, to thrive. She really wants us, to have a good life outside of work as well. So we're really lucky to have her, for sure.
That's awesome. And
And I know not everyone loves it, loves their managers, but we have a great one.
it's rare. It's
Yeah,
actually pretty
definitely.
rare.
We're very lucky.
Was there any moment in your life that may have inspired you to be this person that you are, who loves their job in nursing, who loves taking care of people?
My dad, he had a lot of cardiac problems in the past. So I know that's why I chose to go into cardiac nursing originally. He never listened to a word I said, though. He never
Classic.
took my advice. But, he'd be like, you ask too many questions. Um, I just think that my life in general, I just have always wanted to take care of people. I don't know if it's just something I was born with, without getting into, like my childhood or anything. I just feel like this is what I was meant to do, was just to be good to people.
I love that. You're such a fucking saint, and
No,
I
trust
love you,
me.
but I
Fuck
love
is my
you,
favorite word.
I love you, but like you definitely have a way of making people leave and just reflect on themselves. So definitely leave and just be like, how can I be more like Leslie? What's
Oh
happening?
gosh, don't. Trust me.
No, it's
No.
great. I mean, you're such a lovely person, and your spirit you're so kind, and I could definitely see who you are,
Aw,
and would have been amazing to work with you.
thank you.
What's the most important lesson you've learned as a nurse, and something you could tell maybe new nurses coming in or new healthcare workers?
Practice a pause, take a deep breath before you, go into a room to see a patient. Leave whatever mood you are in at the door before you walk in. And remember, it could be you laying in that bed or your family member. And, sometimes you just have to take that moment because you can be carrying so many other things with you. And they're depending on us in so many ways. And I think we forget that, sometimes we just look at it, it's just a job. We come in, we do what we do. But they're all humans, just like you and I, and everybody's got something. Everyone's going through something. So, just to be kind.
Yeah, it's really good advice. Just take a pause and just remember, like, this person, it's not their fault that whatever happened to you
Yeah.
5 minutes ago with the other patient, like whether they were, screaming at you, throwing their
Yeah.
poop at you,
Yeah.
punching you, trying to punch you,
Yeah.
if they were confused. It's
Yeah.
not the next person's fault.
Exactly.
I love that. And
Yeah.
it's because it's so hard, like when I was working in the ER to take those moments to yourself and just try to like reset. It was also distracting too because when I was working at the ER, I also had my phone. So my reset was just going on social media and like looking at
Right.
what's happening, which is not technically a reset. You're not shutting
No,
down your
it's not.
brain and
It
reflecting.
just switches your
right?
brain a little. Yeah.
It just switches. And you're just looking for
Mhm.
like a distraction and you leave that 1 minute break on your phone still like worked up and amped up. You didn't
Oh,
calm down at
100%.
all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's so important to just, take a pause, take a deep breath and just, this is a
Yep.
brand new person, you're human. So
they're human. Exactly.
they're
They may
human,
think
you're
they're
human.
emergencies. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Do you have like maybe a more light, funny patient story that's happened to you that we could share that wouldn't violate
Yeah.
HIPAA?
Just characters, there's characters out there and sometimes they just click with you, really well. I've had
Your best
one
friends with a
lady
psych patient?
yeah, I mean, hey, usually, So I
Psych
can't think of a specific story, but like my coworkers have gotten me, funny gifts when I've clicked well with a patient. We had one day I came and opened my locker and I had fishnet stockings. And I
Mm.
was like, what the heck? And then I thought about it for a minute. And one of the patients that I really had clicked with the day before kind of was, came in like the fishnet stockings and her cowboy boots. And she had this whole like vibe going on. And she was having a bad day, but her and I just kind of chilled and vibed and talked and everything. And, like my like soul sister, in a kind of a funny way. So one of the girls got me the fishnet stockings, which I still have somewhere hidden, just as a reminder of like this, lady who was having a really shitty day. And we
Yeah,
just sat and we talked and, she was kind of a wild looking character, but complimented her on her fishnets and ended up getting some myself. So.
that's hilarious. And I guess, yeah, your coworkers definitely in the back laughing at you when you were doing
Oh,
it.
100%. 100%.
It is so funny. You said you clicked with this person,
100%. Yeah.
and
We
it
like,
doesn't sound.
it was like,
It sounds like this happens often for you.
I have a personality that I literally can talk to anybody, I think I'm a great listener. I love to talk. I feel like you can always find some sort of connection with a person, whether it's like they had a really shitty life and, they're kind of dumping, that story on you and you can connect with that, or they had a similar experience that you can be like, yeah, I get that. I think every single human being, like we all have something in common with somebody. And no matter what comes in your door in the ER, I feel like if you just take that time to listen, you can click. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who will never click together. But I think for the most part, as wild and crazy as people can be, you can find something to kind of come down on their level just to give them that moment of humanity in a bad situation.
I feel like I would be such a great ER worker after this conversation. Too bad I don't work there anymore. So much good advice. Because it's absolutely true. Again, it just goes back to what we said. The people who come to the ER, they are not their best self. They're
No,
scared. They're screaming. They're
absolutely.
upset. Sometimes it's a family
Yeah.
member who's upset. It's so easy to be like, listen, man, I'm busy. Like, I can't
Yeah.
help you right now. Or like, to a patient where it's just like, hey, this is not my priority right now. I got other stuff to do. But to sit down and just talk to someone and just make them feel human, like you said,
Mhm.
it's like, hey, this is gonna be fine. This is just life. It's gonna be okay. It's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And not only that, you get fishnet stockings as gifts
Heck yeah.
for doing it.
Someday, maybe I'll have them on. You never know. Rock them with my
Sure.
cowboy boots. Who knows? But I mean, it's like, it caught me off guard when they were there. But then, like, after a minute of thinking, it was like, I knew exactly
You knew
why they
exactly.
were there.
Do they do that often? Do they get? It's
It,
like a gift giving thing for
rare,
Leslie that happens.
sometimes, yeah, or we'll bring up something funny or, a random word or sentence or something. And it's just like, oh, I know you heard that or you saw that. Yeah. So we have a good time together. There's a good group of us that hang out even outside of work. So Lou and Bryn and then Jessica as well. And we have a great time together while we're at work or not at work. But yeah, overall
Yeah,
though, yeah, we're really lucky.
they mentioned that because you guys are the more senior nurses. Sometimes these days you guys don't get to work with each other anymore because
We
now
don't.
you're all charge nurses, and
Yes.
so the only time
Yeah.
you see each other is during handoff and shift change.
Yeah. Rarely. Yeah. Or if we make some sort of plan outside, we have a good thread, like a texting
Of course.
group text. Yeah. So we're always sending each other nonsense to laugh about or things to cry about, whatever's going on in our days. But yeah, good group
Oh
of
yeah.
ladies for sure.
Yeah, it's so important to have that. Just to,
Yeah.
just to vent
We've kept each
to.
other sane.
Exactly. You keep each other safe, which is even harder
100%.
now that you don't work with each other,
I know it
right?
is. It's so hard. So hard.
Because like I said, like your coworkers nominated you as the badass motherfucker
I love that.
coworker who they can come to for a morale boost. And now you guys don't even work together anymore
I
because
know.
it's just
So we
gotten
have
to
to
a
like
crazy point where you guys are all
on the
charge nurses now.
It is nuts. It is nuts. Yeah. We had a great team, always being able to work together. So it's definitely a bummer that we don't get to as much, but I appreciate them all the same. They're amazing ladies. Yeah.
Last question here. Because of what I've been popular for, tips from the ER, we would like to ask you tips from the Ottawa ER. What is one thing you wish patients knew before coming into the ER?
We do not take reservations.
Yes.
One of my favorites, you get the call, we're coming, hold a room, and it's like, not how it works. But yeah, and there might be a wait, like we are not your primary care.
Yeah, just assume there's going to be a wait for sure.
Yeah, assume there's going to be a wait. And be lucky, be glad that you're not like the sickest person in the back,
Yes.
Because you'll get the ones that try to pull a little like, oh, maybe I'm having, pain. And, it's like, you really don't want to be that sickest person back there.
You don't. So, but sometimes you can't convince them otherwise. They genuinely believe.
Yeah.
This is, and sometimes they're right. Like, don't get me wrong. There's once in a blue moon, they're right. And we feel bad, but again, we're human. We make mistakes. It happens.
And we never want someone to have to wait, but
Of course not. But for the most part, like, listen, we could usually tell if it's an emergency, like pretty 100%. Quickly. So just chill.
We did study a little bit for this, to get this degree.
Studied and we worked for a long time,
Long time. And take it serious. Yeah.
So that's good. So to everybody out there, no reservations.
No reservations.
There will be a wait.
There will be a wait.
9 times out of 10, if we see you and do a little checkup and think like, it's probably not an emergency. It's probably not an emergency. You can chill.
It's probably not an emergency. If you say, maybe I'll come back tomorrow, we know it's not an emergency.
Oh my God.
I'm going to leave now, but I'll be back tomorrow. That's not an emergency.
I think I had a guy who came into the ER and was like, hey, do you know how long this is going to take? I'm on my lunch break. And I just wanted to like smack him in the fucking face.
You're just like
just leave.
Emergency.
You're
emergency.
So
I'm on my lunch break. That's great.
Yeah. Came in on his lunch break. Said, how long is this going to take? Can I see a doctor? I only have like 40 minutes. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Longer than your lunch, sir. Longer than your lunch.
Absolutely. But Leslee, thank you so much. That was so much fun.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good time. It was so great to meet you.
I had a great time.
You.
It was great talking to you.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Leslee Marinsik.
Marinsik, you got it.
Okay. Yes. Leslee Marinsik. Leslee Marinsik, everybody, out of Ottawa. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Have a fabulous day.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Motherfucker podcast. If you have a coworker who you believe is a badass motherfucker, head over to badassmotherfucker.com to nominate them. My goal is to highlight and share more stories of healthcare workers doing exceptional work in their community who deserve a little bit more recognition. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please give us a like, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Hell, slide into my DMs and tell me yourself. I can't wait to bring more stories your way. But until then, keep being the badass motherfucker that you are.